live, sort of, from Chicago and New York.
That's right.
Prodigies of the aluminum microphones. Once in a lifetime podcasters.
Yeah. Boy, this takes a fucking long time, right?
Yeah, it's a long intro.
Oh,
here it goes. Ready? Ready?
Yep.
My name is Chip. That's right. My name is...
Okay, that's enough of that.
Chicks with beepers. Who could forget them? Yeah, you know what it is. New premium edition. I'm Jared, you're Mike. We're talking about the man, the god of rap metal.
The Kid
Rock.
He's just a boy.
He's just a boy who looks like he's been sleeping in a pack of Marlboros for the last 6 months.
Dude, I saw a photo of him and somebody was making fun of it. If it's like, oh, this is the best you can get for your halftime show is this washed up 55-year-old guy. And my first thought was like, he's only 55. Jeez, dude, that guy's lived a lot of life, man.
Yeah, he looks very like leather. Like he's got his skin looks leathery. Yeah, it's been almost a full week since the Super Bowl, which we debated here in the Posting Through It newsroom about whether we should cover it still. But I do think, Jared, that we invented the coverage on this to a degree, in the sense that we covered the MAGA butt rock phenomenon a while back.
We picked it up right away. The second that, and I'm going to lay out a timeline for this just to recap everybody in a second, but the second Jack Posobiec was like, me thinks maybe we should do a Super Bowl, and who knows, maybe Creed will play. We were on that shit. We gave our audition tape even, people who have been here with us for a little bit will remember the butt rock song with...
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Our subscriber base has grown substantially since then, but all the real heads who've been from the beginning, the new people are heads too. But the people who are there, that they know that we were on top of the Super Bowl story a long time ago. And so they did it. It was they did it, like the moon landing, they made it happen. We know you also, for people who were following that then, we know that they wanted Creed was the main thing. That Jack wanted Creed.
So
that
bad.
Was
so bad, dude. They wanted Creed so bad.
Yeah, and they
and
settled.
I remember right away we were like, they're not getting Creed, dude.
They're not because Creed's like, wait a second, I don't know if I want to do this to myself. Yeah, they did it, and I do think, rather than just punt the story and say, oh, it's old now, it's been almost a week, I actually think that the story's gotten better since.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we had covered it, if we had just done something for the Monday episode instead of Steven Crowder, for example, we wouldn't have gotten the layers of takes. It's almost like, when you hear a Philip Glass song change key and start to break down the song composition, it's like that. It's now it's ascending. It's it's become this new thing rolling over the course of days. And I think it is very revealing of how this sort of racist right operates, what they're capable of, what they want to do, and also, to some extent, their tremendous limitations. So there's both a positive and a negative takeaway here, and I think we'll get to that later. But I'm glad that we're covering it in detail.
Yeah, we're going to be staying on this story for the next year because they've already promised that they're going to do it again next year, and I don't know if that's a good idea. But I'll talk about that in a second. I just want to remind everybody how we got to the point where Turning Point USA hosted an alternative halftime show that aired against the Super Bowl, of all things. So, September 28th last year, the NFL, Apple Music, and Jay-Z's Rock Nation, those are the entities that put together the halftime show during the Super Bowl. They announced that Bad Bunny would headline Super Bowl 60's halftime show. This was notable on a few fronts. One, Bad Bunny is the biggest music artist in the world right now. But what stuck with MAGA was the fact that Bad Bunny is not white. He's an outspoken advocate for minority communities. And perhaps what stuck with most of their base, he performs his music in Spanish.
He also dressed in drag like once or twice.
Yeah.
Which is true of Steven Crowder, by the way.
Yeah.
but they really took offense to that because I think Bad Bunny looked good in it.
Yeah. So, I mean, immediately, as soon as this was announced, MAGA media started ginning up outrage. This was ridiculous. This was crazy. Like, how could they do this? It's un-American, despite the fact that Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, right? But he's not white, right? That's the not so subtle subtext of calling it un-American, the way I see it.
Yeah, there was also the context of, growing anger over Trump's immigration policies, which were, as we've discussed many times on the show, superficially very popular, I think you can say. Certainly in the run up to the election in 2024, November, and then afterwards. But it has been a steady decline afterwards. And then you have this guy who is sort of outspoken against ICE. And then as it built towards the actual thing, and I know we're going to go to that. Like his association with the anti-ICE rhetoric became bigger and bigger, I think, in the culture. People get more familiar with it.
Yeah. I also just want to throw in some context I think is really relevant to why Bad Bunny was booked. Aside from the fact he is the biggest star in the world.
The top streaming artist of last year.
Yeah, huge. I mean, almost impossible to overstate how big of a deal he is. The NFL, like a lot of American sports enterprises, whatever you want to call it, is trying to break into new markets. They're trying to take the sport international. NASCAR's doing the same thing. They've been looking at entities like the PGA getting pressure from, foreign-backed competitors. Formula One, for example, has been doing stuff in the U.S. NASCAR is not happy about that. They want to go international. The NFL is kind of doing the same thing. So having a internationally renowned star in the kind of markets they're looking at, trying to expand into Latin America and that sort of thing, makes total and complete sense. So anyway, that's September 28th. September 29th, our boy Jack Posobiec starts floating out the idea that maybe TPUSA would put together an alternative halftime show. The one tweet he made on September 29th said, "Sure would be a shame if TPUSA hosted a counter Super Bowl halftime show with Creed." And
with Creed, by the way.
Yeah. Mike, do you want to explain Jack Posobiec's infatuation with Creed?
So, if anybody knows how to do an advanced search on X, it's not difficult. You just go to the advanced search thing, and then you type at Jack Posobiec, and then you do a search term, and you type Creed, and you may, it's a little janky there, so you may have to just click on, whatever it is, most recent or whatever it is, in order to get the full list of stuff, and just go through it. And just see how many times this motherfucker has tweeted about Creed. He is obsessed with this extraordinarily bad band. I mean, and when I say they're bad, I mean, God bless them. Creed didn't show up at this thing. The whatever they are is Christian butt rock. The cover for that Human Clay album is probably the most cringe album cover I've ever seen.
Dude, but Creed didn't ask to be born. They just lived the life they were given.
Yeah, they're just like, exactly. But he's obsessed. He goes to see Creed in concert when they came back to do a little thing. He repeatedly refers to Creed as like the greatest halftime show ever. It's often mistaken on the internet that Creed had a halftime show in the Super Bowl. They never did.
No, it was just like a Dallas Cowboys game.
It was one of the 2 Thanksgiving games in 2001. One of the 2 daytime Thanksgiving games, 2001.
I like that you knew that off the top of your head.
Yeah. Well, I hey, look, this, this.
He was there.
There's some research involved here. The Jack Posobiec. And basically, like the reason why people are nostalgic for the Creed halftime show, other than the fact that they are kind of right-wing coded or Christian, there's certainly a Christian group, is Scott Stapp or whatever his name is, was wearing a Cowboys jersey and was like really going at it with the mic, like really singing his butt rock songs with a lot of enthusiasm. It seemed very, wholesome football, like exactly the way these guys imagine football should be. I should know Dallas Cowboys are a pretty right-wing coded team as well.
Listen,
so the whole
man,
thing was a perfect package.
I'm a lifelong Cowboys fan, and that is a hard fucking team to root for.
Most of
the time when people are like, "Oh, do you like sports?" I'm just like, "No."
Yeah, I mean it's
the
not
St.
like
Louis Cardinals, the Dallas Cowboys, dude. It's not easy in this house.
It's not like a slow drip of poison like being a Jets fan, but the that's basically where it came from. And he was we have to imagine that behind the scenes he was desperately courting Creed and trying to get it, like, I'm your number 1 fan, and would you please play an alternative Super Bowl? And I'm sure that Creed is looking at this and saying, like, we have to take into account we have some fans who are not like crazy cultists, right? Like we probably have we don't want to be pigeonholed into this. Any band that could make some money outside of this, I think, Jared, would be reluctant.